RTA Next really relies on three groups really working together. The Citizen Advisory is obvious, is probably the most obvious one, since they're responsible for presenting a draft plan and showing it to the public, etc. But the RTA board is also keenly involved in that they provide a lot of the framework, that is the policies and procedures that the CAC will follow. And then most recently, the Technical Management Committee, which John Bernal is a member of and actually a liaison to the Citizen Committee, has ramped up its work as well. So those three together will create a plan that hopefully is approved by the board and sent out to the public and voted on. So the next meeting is actually tomorrow of the TMC, the Technical Management Committee. And some of the things that they're starting to work on are prioritization of the individual projects. That will help the CAC understand what each of the jurisdictions feels are its most important projects. You may remember that we have 108 named projects, worth over $4.5 billion, I believe, and the entire half-cent sales tax would only produce maybe $2 billion. And that would leave no money for any of the other funding sources that we want to have set aside. Things like bike and ped safety and transit and just lots of other types of projects that are not these major named projects. So that's important work that the TMC will be able to give some guidance to the CAC through. And then they're also making recommendations to the board about moving some of the projects from the current RTA, where funding and or scoping changes have required that they be sent back to the public for approval. So, as an example, the current requirements of the RTA promise to the voters is that should there be a major change in the scope, that it would not be performed unless all of the difference was paid by, that's an upscoping, right? So if you decide public agreed on 4 lanes and the jurisdiction now wants to do 6, they can either pay for it or send it back to the voters to approve it. That's kind of simplistic, but in essence, that's what we're talking about. So some of those projects that are remaining and either don't seem to have enough money left, or the scope is changing, plus or minus, may well be sent into RTA Next to have the voters vote on those changes, budget changes or those scope changes. So that's other important work that the TMC has just started diving into. The RTA board will meet then on the 2nd of June, and one of the things they're going to be taking up is the parameters of RTA Next. So things like policy issues that the CAC will need to understand, things like the budget, any timelines that they may have. Most recently, there's been a push to recognize mobility, justice, equity, and climate change in some way in the next regional transportation plan. Those are policy issues that the board will have to advise the CAC regarding.
Well, that's a lot going on, Tom. Questions? Okay, hearing no questions, clearly your report was very comprehensive and detailed, and we were listening very astutely.
Have you awakened everyone yet?
Actually, I didn't see anybody dozing off on this end, Tom. Okay, we're going to, thank you very much, Tom, as usual. Okay, we're going to go to topic 7, which has to do with our director's retirement, which I understand is a week from Friday. She's over there smiling very broadly. I'm going to open the forum up. Anna's retirement. Yes, Latricia.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say that thank you for your effective work and dedication on this committee throughout the years. When the public interacts with this group, as we have through calls to the public, they have commented to me and said how much they appreciate the tone that you set in the department and your fantastic team, of course, in accommodating their questions and responding to them, even when they don't get the right answer that they want. There's still a tone that you set that I think people appreciate. So you have my heartfelt congratulations on your retirement, and best to you on the next steps in your journey.
Thank you very much, Lucretia.
Yes.
Thank you.
She's still smiling over there. Okay, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I just want to say thank you for everything you and your staff has done, and you become personally involved with issues I know down in the part of Pima County that I live in, and you talk to constituents directly. You get on video teleconferences directly versus somebody from a staff, and many times in my experience, leaders don't do that. And so you showed yourself as a very effective leader for this department. And so I know for the area where I live in, they are really grateful for the leadership that you have shown, the professionalism. Your whole staff has been outstanding. And just kind of on a personal note, if you're ever looking for cookies at Christmas time, I will trade them for some tamales if you know anybody that makes tamales. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom.
I'm not sure we can beat that comment. Any other comments for Anna? Yes, Charlene.
So, Anna, you and I graduated from the same high school and the same university, and I have to say you have been a great representative
Thank you, Charlene.
both. Thank you.
Comments?
Thank you, Charlene.
Any other comments?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, John.
Charlene, I didn't realize you were Choya. You know, us Badgers feel a little bit, and then I'm sitting next to Dan and Pueblo here. So, anyway, first, let me start with giving a kudo to Priscilla Cornelio for recruiting Anna. I think I was looking back, and Anna came on the year we approved the RTA, and the timing was great because she was coming from the big projects. At ADOT, projects to deal with as Pima, a long list of projects to deal with as Pima County in the RTA program. So Anna certainly helped advance those and in fact, make Priscilla's wish of jumping out ahead of everybody else come true. And it benefited Pima County very much in the long run. And then you became director, and the emphasis really switched to maintenance, and you've tackled an amazing, challenge here to get this department geared towards producing that. I mean, this morning I'm looking at these, or this afternoon I'm looking at these numbers. I'm saying, when did we ever do 300 miles of pavement preservation in 1 year? And that's about what we're going to do next year. So it's amazing. And to your credit, you've gone through a lot of change in those last 16 years with the department. I know, and probably taken its toll, but you've held up well, and I think we're indebted to you. And congratulations and best wishes for your retirement.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Okay, the forum's still open. Any more comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Dan.
You know, as a retired but recovering politician, I can tell you, and John Bernal will probably attest, I wasn't always the easiest person to work for. I was very demanding, because obviously I represented District 2 that didn't have a lot of unincorporated areas, so I didn't get all the goodies. But I've got to say, it's been a real enjoyment to watch how you operate. I understand that a resume is ready, so when there's another vacancy on this committee, there you go. I'm sure that somebody's going to ask her to join. But anyway, Anna, I didn't realize you were from Choya. But that's okay, because most of the administrators from Pueblo went to Choya, so she was in pretty good shape. Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Other comments? Just a few more moments for comments. Any other comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Tom.
I just want to pile on and remind you that some of us go back all the way to your ADOT days, and really enjoyed working with you back then. When you took over this job, I think maybe people wondered, is she going to just be a caretaker for, you know, all of this work that's coming up through the RTA? What they didn't recognize, as I think John mentioned a few minutes ago, is that the world would change so dramatically, and you became anything but a caretaker, moving the department into the future, frankly. Not even just keeping up with the present, which isn't enough, as you discovered. And I'm just so impressed by how much the department has modernized and advanced, and the people that you've brought on and hired and mentored and brought up right behind you, I think are proof of, as was said before, what a great leader you've been. So it's with a heavy heart that we say goodbye, but we're hopeful that you'll remain involved in transportation in southern Arizona in some other capacity, but you'll always be welcome. And thanks so much for everything you've done for me personally, and certainly for our community. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's my turn as chair, so I'm going to ask Director Olivias to come to the podium, please.
Oh, my.
So we have some recognition for you, Anna. And I want to read this from the Transportation Committee and all of ours. The committee members commend you for your 32 years of public service. Your leadership of the Transportation Department and its interaction with the committee has been outstanding. Congratulations.
Thank
Okay,
you.
you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You might want to say a few words. It's up to you.
Oh, thank you very much, Chair Verberg and the committee. Listening to all that, damn, I sound good. That's all I could think. I would have hired me too, but so I'm embarrassed. It has been a joy working for the Transportation Department, and we started this committee at the time that Priscilla Cornelio was retiring. So I remember when we started this, I think I was the only one that started it. Priscilla had already started to retire, so she did not attend. So you're my committee. You're my input and your ideas and your thoughts. It's been very helpful as we transitioned, as we said, from our capital improvements to our maintenance and our modernization of our department. It has been a difficult journey, but it has made it easier with the support of our Board of Supervisors and the committee that we have here, and the support of the staff. I am very happy with everything that we have accomplished. I am happy to be a Choya graduate and a U of A graduate, and maybe I'll venture outside the west side of Tucson now that I have time. My husband jokes all the time, you west side girls, you don't leave this side. But we love where we live. But thank you very much. I'm very looking forward to my retirement, and I'm very looking forward to seeing where the department goes with the leadership that we have. You're all in good hands with the department. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next topic on the agenda is future topics for our meetings. So if you have any topics at this point you wish to suggest, or you can get them to Annabelle by the
Mr. Chair?
10th of June. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, last week, the Arizona State Transportation Board, they have an open comment period right now for the FY, or the 2023 through 2027 road projects. I think the